I'm Melanie Geidel, and we're here at the Colony Cafe for the Filmmakers Roundtable discussion.
And so I've always been passionate, principally, I think because of the time I grew up. I was a director guy. I loved actors, I wanted to be an actor, but I would follow directors and their perspective and their visions and how they authored films. And I also grew up in a time where I was, part of the believer in the auteur theory, where the director, whether he wrote the film or not, had the greatest emphasis on the making of the film. And of course, then there were a lot of great writer-directors who had that personal vision and then could actually work and direct actors and make visually real stimulating work. So it was really through passion, without any experience in the film business and not being trained in business. It was just an instinctive, gut kind of move for me. And it's been a really interesting ride, nearly 30 years, and watching the business ebb and flow and rise and fall, and it's a very cyclical world. Audiences are fickle, and they age, and so their tastes change. And if you don't have a lot of perspective as a filmmaker, to know that right now it's a difficult time for everybody in every walk of life and every business. But one of the advantages that we have is that people always need something outside of themselves. And during the Depression era, the kinds of films that the studios made were distracting people from their unfortunate circumstances. And so if you think about the films in the 30s, like the screwball comedies or Fred Astaire musicals, where you're watching some person who's living in, say, Cleveland, hasn't worked in a year, watching Fred Astaire in a top hat and tails, and it was like provided a release and a completely exotic experience from their own very dire day-to-day. And I think to some extent the same process is evident today. People need distraction and they need to be entertained.
Yeah. I think independent means having money. Fiercely independent means being able to get money from other people.
Or you don't give a shit about money.
But it means that there's something you've got to do, and you just don't let anybody stop you, including money, though that's hard. But the fiercely part is that it's not an intellectual decision to make a movie. It's just something you have to do, and then you can't help but be fierce and independent.
Yes.
Right? Being at Woodstock, it's really interesting. It is a town with a real history of independence and of free thinking, even when their free thinking crosses them away from accepted leftist canon.
Fiercely independent.
Yes.
This is Melanie Geidel after the Colony Cafe Filmmakers Roundtable discussion with Carol Dysinger and Doug Block.